In today's lesson, we will be talking about the pawns. Now, according to a very famous French composer and chess master, F.A.D. Philidor, he actually stated that the pawns are the soul of chess. Now, throughout history, pawns have always been the frontline infantry, or the vanguard. Now, something to keep in mind is that the pawn is the smallest piece in the game. It actually has the smallest value on the board when we start the game. If you capture a pawn, it is worth 1 point. But pay attention. Don't fall into the trap that many beginning chess club students tend to fall into, of thinking that the pawn is not important. It is a very important piece, as you'll see. So let's go ahead and talk about these pawns. They kind of look like this. I'm going to refer to this pawn or this team as the lemonade team, and this pawn or this team as the chocolate team. So let me go ahead and place them at their starting positions. Now, pawns only move forward 1 space. So he's going to move forward, he's going to move forward. They're very simple moving pieces, so keep that in mind. You just move forward 1 space. Now, something very special happens when they get to the other side of the board. And in this example, it's Lemonade's turn to move. He's going to move 1 space to coordinate A8. Now, when a pawn gets to the other side of the board, it is actually able to promote to 1 of 4 pieces. Now, 2 of the pieces it can promote to are minor pieces. And these minor pieces are a knight, which looks like this. It is a slow moving piece. If you're able to capture it, it is worth 3 points. It can also promote to a piece that looks like this, with the diagonal cut across its face head. This is actually called a bishop. It is worth 3+ points, but we can just say 3 points. So what would happen to this pawn? Well, the chess player would get to choose, and if he decided to choose one of the minor pieces, this pawn would go to the would go right off of the board. It doesn't go to this chess player playing as chocolate. It doesn't go to this chess player playing as lemonade. It just goes to the side of the board, and he can place a knight here, or he can place a bishop over here. Okay, now, in addition, this pawn could actually promote to 2 major pieces if it wanted to, or 1 of 2 major pieces, and it could promote to this piece right over here. This is a fast-moving piece known as a rook. If it is captured, it is worth 5 points. Or it could promote to this piece. This is the most powerful piece in the game of chess. This is known as a queen. It is a fast-moving piece, and it is worth 9 points in the game of chess. So, again, Lemonade would decide, most likely would choose to promote to a queen. Most chess players choose to do this, with the pawn going to the side of the board. Again, it doesn't go to either chess player. Now, it'd be Chocolate's turn to move. He'd move right over here and most likely would promote to a queen. All right, so go ahead and take those pieces off of the board and place these pieces at their positions. Now, again, I said pawns only move forward 1 space at a time. He's going to move 1 space forward, he's going to move 1 space forward. Notice that I said pawns do not move backwards. So this pawn cannot move diagonally backwards. That would be an illegal move. It can't move directly backwards, diagonally backwards. All of those would be illegal moves. Nor can pawns move side to side. Those would be illegal moves. I also said pawns cannot move diagonally forward. If you were to move to b4, that would be an illegal move. If you were to move to d4, that would be an illegal move. It only can move directly forward. So he's going to move to c4, he was going to move to c5, and now these 2 pawns are stuck. The official position we refer to is stuck pawns. Now, it's Lemonade's turn to move. He's not able to move. Many new chess club students tend to think that he can jump over this piece and capture it. It's not allowed to do that. That is an illegal move. But Lemonade must make a legal move, or a move that he's allowed to do. But there's no moves that Lemonade can make. So what's going to happen is this game is going to end in a tie game or a stalemate. And both chess players are going to end up winning this game. Now let's imagine that Lemonade does have another pawn on the board, and he must make a legal move, and obviously he has 1 piece that he can move, so he's going to go ahead and move that piece, but now it's Chocolate's turn to move. There's no legal moves he can make, and again, this would end in a stalemate or a tie game where both chess players would win this game. Alright, so let's go ahead and place all of these pawns on the board. Notice that we're going to have 8 pawns sitting on the 7th rank. And I want you to imagine that that is like a couch. And we're going to have 8 pawns sitting on the 2nd rank. So imagine that they're sitting on a couch, and we'll go ahead and place our kings on the board at their starting positions. So they're watching television all day, and or movies, and it upsets the king, and the king actually has to push them off the couch. Now when a pawn gets pushed, he doesn't move 1 space forward, but he moves 2 spaces forward on the first move. So he's going to push, and these 2 pawns are stuck. He's going to push to g4, he's going to push to g5, and those 2 are pushed. Now, those 2, are pushed, and this position is stuck. Now, they don't have to push. He can move 1 space forward to c3. He's going to move 1 space forward to a6. Now, let's talk about the pawn that's on c3. Notice he's not on the couch or the home row or the starting position. This pawn will not be able to get pushed. He's only able to move 1 space forward. He's only able to move 1 space forward. And he's going to move 1 space forward. And now it's Chocolate's turn to move. Another mistake that beginning chess club students tend to make is they're going to want to push this pawn on c7 off of the couch. And they think that he can push and capture. Well, that's an illegal move. Pawns cannot push off the couch or push and capture. This pawn can only move 1 space forward. That's it. And now these 2 pawns would be stuck. All right. Now let's talk about how they're able to actually capture, because pawns can capture diagonally forward. So we're going to push this pawn off the couch. We're going to push him off. And it's Lemonade's turn to move. He can capture diagonally forward at c5. Now notice the difference in words. There's nobody in this coordinate at e5. He cannot move diagonally forward. That would be an illegal move. But pawns can capture diagonally forward. Now it doesn't matter who's in the square. We can place a pawn there. We can place a knight here. We can place a bishop, a rook, or even a queen. And that pawn would be able to capture diagonally forward. Okay. So we're going to want to keep that in mind as the game goes along. So let's kind of give a quick example. We'll just go ahead and push this forward. He's going to go ahead and capture. He's going to move 1 space forward. Now it's Lemonade's turn to move. He does not have to capture. He can move 1 space forward if he wants to, but he will have him capture. It's Chocolate's turn to move. He actually has 3 options of what he can do. He can move 1 space forward, push, or capture diagonally forward. We'll have him capture diagonally forward. All right. Now there's one move called en passant. And it's a pawn versus pawn kind of capture, but I will not be talking about this in this particular video because it's just very important if you're a true beginning student or a beginning student just to focus on these basic movements of the pawn. We'll introduce that later, but for now just kind of get the basics down and the fundamentals down on how this pawn moves. Something very important to note is we're going to always want to keep in mind certain types of numbers. So let's pretend he has the option of capturing these pieces right over here. This knight is worth 3 points. This rook is worth 5 points. He can't move straight because it's stuck. Obviously, in this example, we're going to want to capture that 5-point rook. Okay? So just to quickly recap, pawns are slow-moving pieces. They're able to move 1 space at a time or push 2 spaces at a time. Now, if this guy pushes, pawns are able to capture diagonally forward, and it would be Chocolate's turn to move. He's going to move right over here. He decides to move here. He moves here. The king moves here. And when a pawn gets to the other side, it's able to promote to one of 4 pieces. It can promote to a knight. It could promote to a bishop. It could promote to a rook, or it could promote to a queen. Now, obviously, most chess players would choose the most powerful piece. Keep that in mind. If you have any questions, please talk to your chess instructor, or else you can post your question right over here on this page. We're more than happy to listen to any of the questions that you may have, and have fun playing chess. Thank you.